And we're back to learning CSS. Let me show you how you can create image overlays. It uses a couple of methods that I've already shown you in the earlier tutorials in my CSS playlist. But we are going to add something additionally to it. Let's first add an image. As always, I use the img folder where I've got our project images. I'll stick with them. Let me use the pattern PNG. I don't want to make that as big as my browser window, so I use width 100%, hate auto. It's responsive. And now we're going to set up the overlay. To do that, we'll create a general container for everything. I'll give that the class container directly. Once that is done, we want to add another div container for the overlay. And inside of this, we'll add the text. And the text we're going to nest in a div container of itself. So I use these as class names, container, overlay, and text. And I can keep this div container in the same line. Let me just add some text, maybe micro brick, photography, something like this. That's just an example. So this is our setup in the HTML. You can see the text down here, the image above, and both are nested inside of the same div container. And this is what we're going to adjust now using CSS. First up, we'll target our container. Let me put that above the image, as it's the general container that contains it all, image and text. I want to adjust the position to relative, and you could add a general width here if you wanted to. So if you want to make that smaller than your browser windows, just set the width to 50%, for example. And then set the image to block inside of this container. Now we can target our overlay. Here we want to set the position to absolute. Top, bottom, left, right should get the value of 0. Height 100% and width 100%. And now we're going to use opacity. I want to set that to 0 in the end. That means we can't see it now. And this should be the default case. And then we're going to add a background color. Let me just pick this hex code right here. I don't know what it looks like, but you could make it green, for example, yellow, whatever you want. As I've said, we can't see it due to the opacity, and it also makes the text vanish. Let me, for example, change the opacity. Just to show you this, I set it to 1, and here it is, and we can also see the text. So the overlay class, it affects not only this overlay, this bluish square overlay, but also the text. And now we want to set it up so that when we hover over the container, the overlay opacity is changed to 1. So we target the container class in the state of hover, and then we want to affect the overlay class and change the opacity from 0 to maybe 0.5. And here you can see how that works. Well, let me use a higher value, maybe 0.75. Alright, now let's target our text. We've given it the class text, or to be specific, the div container contains it, has the class text. We'll set the color to white. We want to make it bigger, and we certainly want to put it in center, change the position. To do that, we use font minus size property, then position absolute, and here we adjust top and left to 50%. And then use the translate, so transform, translate value minus 50% for each dimensions, and this should put it in center. I can make this a bit bigger, 20 pixels not big enough. Let me try 40 or even 50. 50 is too big, I want to have it in the same line. $35 should be a good value. Everything works. Or we can add an inbuilt animation property. And I believe I haven't talked about that yet in my playlist. We use the transition property and then set the timing to 0.5 seconds and use ease. And you can see how this eases in this animation. We make it 0.9 and it's slower now. And this is usually what you see in photo galleries on photography websites, so where you hover over images and then, for example, a button is shown or a text. It uses a little bit of an ease effect and a timing for the animation. In my case, 0.5 seconds is fine. As I said, you can also add buttons here. Let me just show you this quickly. I give it the text test. And now if I hover over it, you can see it right here, there's the button. So it works the same way as we've done for the text. I hope this video was helpful, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.